That particular boulder was teetering on a sliver of sand, much like what you see here. At one point, she stays silent during the 911 call. This is the marijuana that doesn't get you high. It's low in THC. She falls out of the window, does a somersault, lands on her back here in the flower garden. A group of BYU students have created a mobile app underneath the earth. There were no remains disturbed, which is why archaeologists are outraged that just feet from the pregnant buffalo, someone did this. They carved their initials, JMN. Quite the damage. Wayne and Susan Pierce, Bob, had just a terrifying front row seat to all of this. This fire was so intense that it melted this flagpole in their backyard. You can see the juniper bushes didn't stand a chance either. We're literally 20 feet from their home. On the back porch here, look at this. The awning just singed, ash coming down on the deck here, also on the barbecue, the lawn furniture. I mean, this is just a small example of just how frightening all of this was. Now, this happened 8 o'clock last night, so those high winds you're talking about 45 miles an hour, kicking up, snapping a power pole and blowing a transformer, and it started a grass fire. And you can see here live, as we're looking at University Avenue where this started, the fire just climbed up this hillside very fast. All of this happening over about an hour period, and there were 3 homeowners that were most affected, the Pierce family being one of them. We think right here is the worst of the damage that we've seen, this children's playhouse that just didn't stand a chance. So we've got damage here, Bob, not only to this house, but also across the street, the green Honda that you see in the distance. Here's how the story unfolds. So there's a drug deal, then a chase that follows, and police were telling us that as they came down here and did one of these pit maneuvers, the suspect's vehicle hits that car, but then the cop's SUV loses control, hits this fence, comes across the Flanagan's yard, and you can see the damage here. It was lodged up against their patio, some pretty severe damage to the side of the house. Nineveh, wait till you see this. So we were just told moments ago that the cleanup is at least going to take a couple days. First, it started as a water main break, then it resulted in a sinkhole. Let me show this to you. We're talking about 10 feet deep and about 8 feet in diameter. That's what you see here in the live picture. And at the bottom there, you can see that 16-inch water main. That is what burst around 2 this afternoon, causing a lake of water stretching all down 13 South underneath the I-15 freeway, causing a traffic jam. Luckily, no one drove into the sinkhole. There's no reports of any injuries, but quite the cleanup still ahead. And so as this happened around 2 this afternoon, there were cars that were driving through about 3 feet of water.
Today's funeral culminated with a procession that stretched from West Valley City to Draper.
And then an emotional burial service in Sandy. Fox 13's Gene Kennedy has been covering it all day. He joins us live in studio with a wrap-up on this. Hi, Gene.
Hi there, Nineveh and Bob. Well, by the time it ended, there wasn't a dry eye at Larkin Sunset Garden Cemetery, and what truly touched the family, all the support they witnessed on the way to the cemetery, and then hearing a police dispatcher call for Sergeant Johnson one last time. As fellow officers led Draper Sergeant Derek Johnson to his final resting place.
I could not ask for a better tribute to my brother.
Held by the brotherhood he held dear.
I will be eternally grateful.
Hundreds watched as flags were presented to Johnson's family, including his wife and 6-year-old son.
His dad was a hero. He was a true hero, and I can't imagine what he's going through.
Then the moment that brought everyone to tears.
It always hits me hard.
The dispatcher's last call.
Draper, Sierra 8.
For them to call Derek and waiting for him to respond, and it doesn't happen.
Last time you know that you'll ever hear his call number on the radio, so it's very emotional for police officers.
Draper 8, Sergeant Derek Johnson. We thank you for your dedication, loyalty, and service to the citizens of Draper, Utah, and the United States. All those you served will remember you. Your sacrifice will not be forgotten. Rest in peace. Draper 8, 1042 forever. End of watch.
Family and friends not only touched by the burial service, but the procession to the cemetery.
It made us feel incredible.
The first car arrived in Draper as the last car left West Valley's Maverick Center.
You can see how loved Sergeant Johnson was among the community.
And it represented everything about Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson served the community, and the community was here for him today.
Gene, you know, what's remarkable is how, even as tragic as the end of his life was, and those circumstances, all of that seems to have been overshadowed by that electric smile and the countless acts of kindness and respect that he gave to other people.
He just had a magnetic personality. I mean, you heard that all along, that, you know, how dedicated he was to his job.
For generations of trained enthusiasts,
this is a once-in-a-lifetime sort of thing.
what are you hoping to see?
The train.
Not just any train, the largest steam locomotive ever built.
It hasn't moved in, like I said, 50 years, so a lot of people alive today have never even seen it.
It's just something else.
John Belmont drove from American Fork to this remote spot in Juab County for this moment. Belmont is seeing Big Boy on the rails for the first time since he was in junior high.
It was just unbelievable how you thrilled us even to this day. I can't wait to see this thing, let alone see it running.
Next stop, Stockton, where hundreds of people waited for Big Boy. The vintage giant made its way next to State Road 36. It's behind schedule, but the Rands family from Layton doesn't care. They just want a glimpse.
I just love the look, the feel, just the awesomeness of it.
You get to see something that is in the past coming to life today. That doesn't happen often. You don't get to see these steam engines.
The Big Boy 4014 weighs more than 1 million pounds, as long as a diesel locomotive, school bus, and car combined. Fox 13 toured the cab.
Pull the whistle right there.
Okay.
Yeah, give her a little toot. There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
And here's where the coal would be put in?
That's where the coal goes in there.
There were 25 Big Boys built exclusively for Union Pacific in the early 1940s. The muscle hauling freight trains from Cheyenne to Ogden.
The 40s, the 50s for Ogden, Utah. You'll see that it was a steam capital. And that's where these engines lived.
For the last 50 years, this big beauty sat in a museum at the Los Angeles County Fairgrounds. Now it's headed home to Cheyenne for restoration. In 5 years, the Big Boy will ride the rails once again, and you'll be able to ride it too. All aboard? Once it starts running again, you gonna go for a ride?
I sure am.